And we're live. Hello and welcome to the football podcast for Saturday, 12th of September. I'm joined as always by a certain Adam Galau to discuss the hottest stories surrounding the footballing world.
Hello, Theo. It is a pleasure to be here. And without further ado, let us commence this podcast.
Indeed, in today's edition of the football podcast, we'll be covering everything from transfers to potential live coverage and results from Premier League games.
Indeed. So, starting with those Premier League results, Fulham lost 3-0 to Arsenal at home today. Crystal Palace Crystal Palace won at home, which was a contrast from Fulham. And Liverpool leads is currently 3-2, with 2 goals from Mohamed Salah, 1 from Virgil van Dijk. And on the lead side, do you know who scored, Theo?
Yeah, it was Jack Harrison and then followed up by Patrick Bamford. And some more info on those other games. I believe it was Aubameyang who got the final of the 3. Lacazette has become only the 3rd player to score on 2 separate opening day occasions. So fair play to him. So quite interesting there. He scored against Leicester in 2017. That was the first goal of the Premier League. Is that his Arsenal debut? Here we are 3 years later. Very different circumstances. So that finished 3-0. Very good game. Arsenal filled with optimism going forward now into a tough run, which sees them play against Leicester, both Manchester clubs. So this will be good for their motivation. Gabriel, their new signing with a debut goal. Huge for them. Willian was in on the action. He did some good set pieces. So really good stuff from Arsenal there. Crystal Palace, Wilfried Zaha got the only goal at Selhurst Park. Meanwhile, new Southampton signing, Kyle Walker-Peters, got sent off on his debut. So that's not the ideal way to start.
Yep. And you were mentioning people scoring on the opening day of the Premier League season. Well, the other player, Theo, is the infamous Mohamed Salah, who is a serial scorer. He scored in his debut season, 2017-18, against Watford, 2018-19 against West Ham, last season, 2019-20, against Norwich, and this season twice so far against Leeds. But we've moved on from those scores, but we do not move on from Liverpool, who are approaching to sign Thiago in January. They wanted to finalize the deal this season to strengthen that midfield, but that's looking increasingly unlikely. What do you think, Theo?
Yeah. No, this is actually very interesting because Thiago is approaching 30 years of age, yet he's such a good anchor, quarterback, if you like. We saw him play against Chelsea, very, very talented, Champions League, so key to their success. And Liverpool were obviously linked with him for a while now. And Hansi Flick has valued Thiago at £30 million, which is... I mean, that is so cheap for such a player of quality. I'd value him something closer to about £70 million.
Yeah.
Probably 80, if I'm feeling generous. So, I mean, the fact that Liverpool aren't willing to pay that is either shows they're in financial disarray, as many clubs are at this stage during the coronavirus pandemic, just emerging from it now in the UK. So I think this is a tactic used by Liverpool, probably just to gather a bit more finance revenue when fans do return to stadiums by that point in January. Not full, I believe, at that point, but there will be fans at stadiums if all the pilots go as planned, and they've been successful. So, Liverpool go at it again for Thiago in January. Now moving on, and this is some interesting news. Obviously, we knew that the Saudi Arabian consortium pulled out of their Newcastle takeover. Then they actually they decided to come back into the negotiations with the Premier League, and obviously Newcastle. They bought Newcastle, lots of money, within that, and that would have been a $1 billion takeover. Very rich consortium. Now, the Saudi Arabian consortium have been providing evidence to the Premier League that they have no association with the Saudi Arabian government, which was the whole issue in the first place that was making it such a slow and delayed process. Newcastle obviously very frustrated that the Premier League have officially rejected the takeover, and Newcastle have actually attacked the Premier League in response to their decision, and the Premier League hit back saying this decision was not made by one person. It was a unanimous vote. So I think whatever those board members and shareholders thought, I think was the right decision. Clearly, there wasn't enough evidence to suggest that they could pass the owners and directors test. So, yeah, good decision there. Adam, your thoughts?
I mean, it's been known for quite a while now that the deal wasn't going to go through. I think that as time passed, I think people are just going to move on and leave it at just a rumor. The Premier League, the FA have really finalized that, and just kind of almost agreed with what everyone was going to think and say. I don't think anyone was seeing a last minute turnaround. I don't think that was ever on the cards, but they've just completely cancelled the deal and told everyone that it's completely off. But we move on to another club that is also in a bit of a disarray right now, as many are. It's Barcelona. They have allegedly agreed, personal terms with Memphis Depay. The young, well, not so young anymore, but the talented Dutchman has been actually picking up form recently. In France, and he's been playing well. I think that he has potential to be, if he keeps growing at the rate he is and keeps maturing, he has potential to be great. But I think that if he is squandered at Barcelona, like many of the recent transfers have been, then it will be another case of a player fizzling out and losing form. So, what do you think of his deal, Theo?
Yeah, this is an interesting one as well. Memphis Depay, famous for that Manchester United flop. He was set to be like the next Ronaldo. He then went off on a relief trip to Lyon. To stay there for a while now. As Adam said, he's picked up some pretty valuable form. And I think Barcelona have recognized that, and I think they see Memphis Depay as a long-term replacement for Luis Suarez, whether Memphis Depay won't flop under Ronald Koeman. Interesting one here. And I think if personal terms are agreed, I think the fee is around £30 million. I think that's what Lyon want, maybe 35, 40. So nothing too tricky for Barcelona to negotiate, or Ronald Koeman. So I think this deal will go through. Memphis Depay should sign for Barcelona. Could be weeks, or maybe a week. No portal there. So yeah, very exciting stuff for Barcelona there. Luis Suarez, his future is not at Barcelona. I think we've known that ever since Ronald Koeman arrived at the new camp. So, yeah, that's the latest on Barcelona and Memphis Depay. And finally, we have some Arsenal news. Finally, and it's Hossam Aouar and Thomas Partey. Now we've been over Thomas Partey before, back in June, and these were mainly links with PSG. So. But obviously Arsenal have been interested. I think the fee here that Arsenal looking at is about £50 million. So pretty substantial for a very good all-rounder in that midfield, good anchor, but he can also get a few goals here and there. Not a natural goal scorer, I'd say, but a very, very good all-round player. And Hassam Aouar, famous for his dribbling, very technically refined young French player, very bright future ahead of him. Again, Arsenal looking to sharpen their midfield, players that can go alongside players like Danny Ceballos, who played earlier today. So I think both of these players would. I think they would be good at Arsenal. Though, is there another destination where they'd be excellent? I think that's the question. A question that I don't know. I don't think I can answer right now though. Hassam Aouar's fee is we're looking at something like £35 million, £40 million, so nearing £100 million midfield spree. So quite a lot of money there. Adam?
Well, I mean, they have both. There is no question about their talent or their ability. They've both established themselves in their respective leagues. I think that Thomas Partey had a very memorable game against Liverpool. He was an engine in the midfield. As you're saying, he can play that holding role very well. Could partner up with the Egyptian who's rising in form, Mohamed El Nini, and then Aouar could be the attacking midfielder, supplying Aubameyang, Lacazette, Pepe, and co up front. And I think that it will really galvanize Arsenal, if you will, if they can pull off these signings. They aren't really a team that have squandered too many players. When they sign the big names, they tend to use them to the best of their ability, unlike Barcelona. And so I think it could really help that club, really make them stronger. And yeah, that's it. I do believe that over at Anfield, the second half is underway. But I think we'll have to leave our podcast at that. Goodbye for me, and Theo, do you have anything to say?
Yeah, as the second half should be underway very soon. I just like Adam. I'm gonna put you on the spot here. Final score prediction.
5-3 to Liverpool.
Yeah, funny. That's funny. I was actually thinking about that scoreline. I'm gonna say, I don't know. I think it's gonna be a more boring second half. It tends to be a theme, though it could be a pretty crazy game, as it's turned out to be already. I think it's gonna be 4-all.
You think?
Yeah.
I think that Leeds will pull one back, and then Liverpool will do a classic Liverpool 83rd, 84th minute, they'll score. And then deep into stoppage time, they might nick another one. Mm-hmm. That's just what I think will happen.
Well, yeah, confirmation of that the second half has just begun. So there you go. 46th minute at Anfield. But that does conclude our podcast. Goodbye from Adam.
Goodbye. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on the post notifications bell, and do all of that. We greatly appreciate your support. Goodbye from Theo.
Bye-bye, guys.